Hello, welcome back to my class again, dear students. I'm Umair Ahmed Khan, and in this lecture, we'll be studying one short story which is titled as The Gift of Magi, written by O. Henry William Sidney Porter, whose actual name is William Sidney Potter. And The Gift of Magi is one of the wonderful stories written by William Sidney Porter. And at the end of this lecture, you'll be able to infer, deduce meanings out of the text. You'll be able to understand the contextual meanings. I'll not be able to, narrate the whole story in the class, but I'll just be summarizing the story in front of you. And after that, I'll try to explain and try to read the story in case if we have time at the end, and then I have already shared notes with you, and then we'll be having one short activity that will be role play basically, and then you'll be required to write words that are coming in your mind, and you'll be given to 2 or 3 minutes, and then after 2 or 3 minutes, whatever the words you would have written on the board, you'll be required to write a story about that, but not actually the stories that you the words the stories that or the words that you have written on the board. Yes, in case if there are three different groups, not you'll not be required to write the words that you have written on the board, but rather you'll be required to write this words of another group, and you'll be creating a story out of that. Okay. The gift of Magi. Let's talk about the gift of Magi. The Magi were actually wise people. There are different characters. Oh, the very first character is James Dillingham Young. Dillingham Young. Young. And there is another character. He is actually James Dillingham Young is husband of Della. And there's another character, Safrani. The story actually revolves around these three characters. James Dillingham Young he belongs to a middle class family, but he had a job, but these days he is not having a very good job and not earning very good actually money. But the Christmas is just arriving. Are you boys getting? Okay, fine. All right. James Dillingham Young is not getting very good salary, and Della has just $1.81. $1.81, and she has to get some very precious gift for her husband, James Dillingham Young. And James have one chain of gold chain without, I mean, he only have a dial without chains. And Della had long hair, and she actually wants to buy something very precious that actually belongs to James, but she cannot, because in $1.87, how can you expect that a person be getting? I just apologize in case if I said $1.81. It is actually $1.87. All right. How can you expect a person be getting a very precious gift in just $1.80? And then she counts it again and again. She counts it thrice or twice. I mean, and then in intention she goes out of her home and finds a shop where it is written Safrani. She buys hair, and then she sells her. She actually sells her hair in $20, and then she next 2 hours she jumps from one shop to another, and then to another, and finally she purchases one gold chain, because James had a watch, a dial, but he doesn't have actually the chain. And Della was lingering, Della was waiting that in case someday she could have or she could afford, the combs because she had long hair, but she was never able to afford those. James Dillingham actually he sells her his watch and brings those combs for his wife. And when he comes back home, he sees that Della is shorter. She tells, oh James, then please don't look like this because if my hair are counted, but nobody can count my love for you. They actually, uh, those gifts were not useful at the time, and then they keep the gifts aside, and then start eating dinner, or at the end they whatever they she was just cooking. So they get very happy that whatever they were planning, they actually had very true intentions of giving one another true gifts. Anyways, this was the short story. In case when you are reading, when you are going through those lines, you'll be getting through different words, vocabulary words, different key ideas, and you can write different short stories. You can read different short stories with the help of these websites, pdfdrive.com, Google Books, and then Project Gutenberg, right? Thank you. See you in the next class.